Welcome back to Holy Beacons, where we dive deep into the powerful stories of the Bible that continue to shape our lives today. In this episode, we're exploring one of the most dramatic and inspiring tales of deliverance, the Exodus from Egypt. This story isn't just a historical account, it's a profound reminder of God's power to liberate us from bondage and lead us to freedom. Join us as we journey with the Israelites from the chains of slavery to the threshold of the Promised Land. Our story begins in Egypt, where the Israelites had been living in slavery for centuries. The Egyptians, threatened by their growing numbers, subjected them to brutal labor. Despite their suffering, the Israelites cried out to God, and He heard their pleas. God chose Moses, a man raised in Pharaoh's household but exiled for killing an Egyptian, to lead his people out of bondage. Moses encountered God in the form of a burning bush, where God revealed His name, I-am-WHOIAM, and commissioned Moses to demand the release of the Israelites. Despite his initial hesitation, Moses, with his brother Aaron by his side, returned to Egypt to confront Pharaoh. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he refused to let the Israelites go. In response, God unleashed a series of 10 devastating plagues on Egypt, each one targeting a specific aspect of Egyptian life and the gods they worshipped. These plagues included turning the Nile into blood, plagues of frogs, gnats, and flies, the death of livestock, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and finally, the death of the firstborn. The final plague, the death of the firstborn, was the most severe. God instructed the Israelites to mark their doorposts with the blood of a lamb so that the angel of death would pass over their homes, sparing their firstborns. This event, known as Passover, became a cornerstone of Jewish faith, symbolizing God's protection and deliverance. After the death of his own son, Pharaoh finally relented and allowed the Israelites to leave. Moses led them out of Egypt, and they journeyed toward the Red Sea. However, Pharaoh soon changed his mind and pursued them with his army. Trapped between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's advancing forces, the Israelites despaired. But God instructed Moses to stretch out his staff over the sea, and in one of the most miraculous events in the Bible, the waters parted, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry ground. When the Egyptians followed, the waters returned, drowning Pharaoh's army and securing the Israelites' freedom. The journey to the Promised Land was not without its challenges. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, during which time God provided for them by sending manna from heaven and water from a rock. Despite their frequent complaints and moments of doubt, God remained faithful to His promise. Moses received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, establishing the covenant between God and His people. This period in the wilderness was a time of testing and purification, preparing the Israelites to enter the land God had promised to their ancestors. The story of the Exodus is rich with themes and lessons that resonate deeply. Deliverance and redemption. The Exodus is a powerful reminder of God's ability to deliver His people from bondage. It teaches us that no matter how dire our circumstances, God is capable of rescuing us and leading us to freedom. Faith and obedience. The Israelites' journey required them to trust in God's plan, even when it seemed impossible. Their story encourages us to have faith in God's guidance and to obey His commands, knowing that He is leading us towards something greater. God's power and protection. From the plagues to the parting of the Red Sea, the Exodus story showcases God's unmatched power and His commitment to protecting His people. It reassures us that God is in control, even in the face of overwhelming odds. As you reflect on the story of the Exodus, consider the Egypt in your life, the situations or challenges that feel like they are holding you captive. How can you trust in God's power to deliver you from these circumstances? Remember that God is always with you, guiding you toward freedom and the promises He has for your life. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Exodus from Egypt. We hope this story has inspired you to trust in God's power to liberate and guide you through life's challenges. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more biblical stories and reflections that will encourage and strengthen your faith. Until next time, may you walk in the freedom and assurance of God's unfailing love.